The nation is all geared up to welcome Chinese President Xi Jinping for a two-day official visit beginning later this afternoon. The preparations are at full swing while the nation's capital is being decked up with 11th hour urgency. Incidentally, it is going to be the first visit by a Chinese president after 23 years. A number of agreements, including construction of cross-border railway, transportation and electricity supply, along with bolstering the bilateral ties, will be inked during the Chinese president's Nepal visit. Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanama and these are the headlines of the hour. Chinese President Xi Jinping arriving in Kathmandu today for a two-day official visit. Agreements on connectivity to top the priority, security beefed up in the capital. As many as 6 industries established with Chinese assistance remain shut. Trade deficit worsens due to lack of investment in productive sectors. Some 100,000 residents flee their homes in North Syria as Turkey presses on with its cross-border offensive on Kurdish-held areas. And Portugal blank Luxembourg 3-0. Czech Republic snatch a thrilling 2-1 win over England at the Euro qualifiers. Chinese President Xi Jinping is slated to arrive in Kathmandu later today for his two-day official visit. This is going to be the first presidential visit from the northern neighbor after a gap of 23 years. The major agenda of Xi's visit include construction of cross-border railway, transportation and electricity transmission line, along with the bolstering the bilateral ties. President Vidya Devi Bhandari and Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli are slated to welcome Xi at the Trivandrum International Airport in the afternoon today. Meanwhile, the section from the international airport to Salty Hotel, where Xi will be residing, has been given a quick facelift with decorative materials and pictures for Xi's welcome. Chinese President Xi is scheduled to make a courtesy call with President Bhandari at her official residence, Sital Niwas, at 6 this evening today itself. The meeting will be followed by a dinner reception at Hotel Salty, where the leaders of some political parties are slated to meet Chinese President Xi. The second day of Xi's visit would focus on inking important bilateral agreements along with political parleys. Bilateral agreements are to be signed in a meeting slated for Sunday morning with the presence of Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli as well. The agreements are to include feasibility study of Kerun-Kathmandu railway and preparing its detailed project report, along with renovation of roads connecting the transits and construction of tunnelway. Likewise, the government of Nepal is preparing to seek waivers from the Chinese government on its exports to reduce trade deficit with the northern neighbor and invite investments in hydropower plants, tourism and agriculture. Chinese President Xi is slated to return home at 12:30 p.m. on Sunday. The government has set up the strongest security arrangements so far in view for Chinese President Xi Jinping's official visit to Nepal. The vehicle to be used by the Chinese president during the motorcade and his stay in Nepal has also been brought from China itself. Xi will be using Hongqi limousine during his travel within the capital. Meanwhile, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli himself conducted a monitoring of the security along the road section between Trivandrum International Airport to the Salty Hotel. The security bodies in the country have already held a drill of the motorcade of Xi in the capital. Although the entire security arrangements have been made under the leadership of Nepal Army, the security strategy has been set up as per the recommendation of the Chinese security personnel themselves. A team of the Chinese Security Authority has been in the capital for the last couple of weeks for the purpose. Likewise, security along the road section to be used by the Chinese president has been beefed up as well. Xi's motorcade will be patrolled by a special team of Nepal police in motorbikes, while Nepal Army will be guarding the Chinese delegates via vehicles and 3 different choppers. Keeping in mind the threats of protests from Tibetan refugees during Xi's visit, the teams of armed police force have already started patrolling the residential areas of the refugees such as Bodha and Swayambhu in the capital and Tatopani and Raswagari transits outside Kathmandu Valley. And moving on, the government is preparing to force bilateral agreements on at least a dozen infrastructure projects during the visit of Chinese President Xi Jinping. This comes despite majority of projects supported by China remaining in a sluggish state. Many of China-funded projects have already been stalled, while others are in a dilapidated state due to managerial weaknesses and carelessness. The trolley bus service from Kantipur to Tripureshwar in the capital was brought into operation with the assistance of Chinese government around 45 years ago. The service ran for 13 years in profit. However, in the ensuing years, the trolley bus company was declared bankrupt, which was mainly brought about by sheer mismanagement. Other industries that came into operation with the Chinese government's assistance of the likes of Basbari Su's industry, Himal Cement and Harisiddhi Tiles industry, among others, too have been shut down in due course of time. This has been largely attributed to the trend of lagging behind in upgrading operation capacities, rampant politicization and managerial weaknesses. It has been like a compulsion for Nepal to seek and have foreign assistance for national prosperity in the absence of adequate resources inside the country. The country's trade deficit too has worsened due to lack of enough investment in the productive sectors and improvement in the prospects of export. Experts are of the view that the government should not forget its priority areas and its own capabilities so as to reap maximum benefits from the foreign assistance. And with that, we'll take a short break here. For more news, to stay with us. The death toll from yesterday's passenger bus accident at Tirkha Mode of Indravati Rural Municipality in Sindhupalchowk has climbed to 12. The ill-fated passenger bus was heading towards Kathmandu from Bhotsipa of Sindhupalchowk when the accident occurred around 10 yesterday morning. 5 passengers were killed on the spot while the others reportedly succumbed to their injuries while being taken to hospitals.
यति लोड कि तपाई त्यहाँ त्यसो ओभरलोड भएको फेरि बडरेमा ल्याएर हाल्यो अनि जोरपिपलेमा ल्याएर हाल्थ्यो अनि तल आइसकेपछि फेरि तपाईको 81 गाडी यस्तो स्पिडमा कुद्यो मैले त अब सर्वसुख हो भन्ठाने अब कुन पुलले चाहिँ व्यवस्थित बाँच्यो मैले ब्रेकिङ नभएको मैले मेरो अनुमानमा ब्रेक नभरे हो त्यो गाडी त्यस्तो आदो मान्छे हैन सिधै गयो अनि त्यसपछि एकताले सिधै गएको फेरि यस्तो इन्सिडेन्ट भएको हैन सिधै गएर आफुलाई.
According to police, at least 98 people were injured in the accident. The seriously injured passengers were airlifted to Dhulikhel and Kathmandu by choppers. The injured passengers said that the bus was overcrowded and was carrying 3 times its capacity. Time now for the international update. The United Nations reports some 100,000 people have fled their homes in North Syria as Turkey presses on with its cross-border offensive on Kurdish-held areas. Many people are sheltering in schools or other buildings in Hasaki city and the town of Tal Tamer. Turkey took action on Wednesday after US President Donald Trump pulled American troops out of the area. At least 11 civilians have died. Humanitarian groups say the number of people affected will rise further. Dozens of fighters from the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces (SDF) and pro-Turkish factions have been killed. Analysts say the U.S. withdrawal in effect gave Turkey the green light to begin its cross-border assault. Much of the region has been outside the control of Syrian government as a consequence of the civil war which began in 2011. It has been controlled by the SDF since 2015. The SDF have been key allies of the U.S. in the battle against the Islamic State group, in fact, but Turkey regards the Kurdish militias of the SDF as terrorists who support an anti-Turkish insurgency. Turkey defended its offensive as a bid to create a safe zone free of Kurdish militias, which could also house Syrian refugees. One major concern for the international community is the fate of thousands of suspected IS prisoners, including many foreign nationals being guarded by Kurdish-led forces in the region. And moving on, the 2019 Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded to Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. He was awarded the prize for his efforts to achieve peace and international cooperation. Ethiopia reached a peace deal with Eritrea last year, ending a 20-year military stalemate following their 1998 to 2000 border war. Abiy Ahmed was named as the winner of the 100th Nobel Peace Prize in Oslo. The prize, worth 9 million Swedish crowns, will be awarded in Oslo in December. A total of 301 candidates had been nominated for the prestigious award, including 223 individuals and 78 organizations. There had been great speculation over who would win the prize. Under the Nobel Foundation's rules, nomination shortlists are not allowed to be published for 50 years. After becoming Prime Minister in April of 2018, Ahmed introduced massive liberalizing reforms, in fact, to Ethiopia, shaking up what was an extremely tightly controlled nation. And with that, we have more news coming up, but right now it's time for yet another short break. Welcome back. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the residents in the capital what's their take on the state visit of the Chinese president to Nepal. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
दुई देश बीचको पारस्परिक सम्बन्ध यो भ्रमणले चाहिँ पक्कै पनि प्रगाढ हुन्छ भन्ने मैले आशा लिएको छु।
चाइनाबाट लिनुपर्ने सिक्नुपर्ने कुराहरू थुप्रो छन् तपाईहरु। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाइनाको भ्रमणलाई नेपालले धेरै माग्ने भन्दा नि आफ्नो रणनीतिक हितले कुन कुराले फाइदा हुन्छ भनेर छुट्याएर त्यो कुराहरुमा स्पष्ट रूपमा यो राख्न सक्यो भने चाहिँ राम्रो हुन्छ।
अझै पनि यो भन्दा हात हाल्दै बिग्रिने काम चाहिँ नहोस् हैन, तर जे हुन्छ हात हालेर सफल काम होस् त्यही राम्रो, त्यसकै खुसी छ।
हाम्रो चाहिँ यो जुन मैत्री छ त्यसलाई अझ प्रगाड गर्छ, राम्रो गर्छ, यो हमेशा भइनुपर्छ, खुसीको कुरा हो।
आशा लिने बानी हामी नेपालीहरुकै छ, राम्रै होला, पक्कै पनि केही न केही अब सुधारात्मक कामहरु हुँदै जालान्, त्यही नै हो।
विकासका कुराहरु हुन्छन्, तिनीहरु रोकिएका छन्, त्यो सबै सुधार हुन्छ भन्ने विचारमा छ।
पक्कै पनि राष्ट्रपति आइसकेपछि अब हाम्रो देशको लागि केही राम्रो गरेर जानुहुनेछ भन्ने विश्वास छ।
Time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, what's your take on the failure to fully operate infrastructure constructed through foreign assistance? Your options are A, no transfer of skill and technology, B, managerial weakness, and C, no importance. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for the sports update.
Sports news.
Portugal defeated Luxembourg 3-0 at the Euro Cup qualifiers match played late last night. In the Group B match played last night at their home ground, Portugal took the lead in the 60th minute through Bernardo Silva. Portugal doubled the lead in the 65th minute as Cristiano Ronaldo proved too good for goalkeeper Anthony Morris. With the goal, Ronaldo is only one goal away to mark the 700th goal of his career. This was also Ronaldo's 94th goal for the Portuguese national team. Gonçalo Guedes sealed Portugal's 3-0 win as he scored towards the fag end of the match. Likewise, in another match under the same group, Ukraine defeated Lithuania 2-0. Meanwhile, in Group A, Czech Republic stunned England with a 2-1 win. This was the first time England faced a defeat in the qualifiers in 10 years' time. England had remained undefeated for 43 qualifier games. Likewise, World Cup winners France clinched a 1-0 win over Iceland. Time now for our special segment, Media Watch.
Krishna Bahadur Mahara, who resigned from the post of Speaker on 1st of October following allegations of sexual misconduct on a female staff at the Parliament Secretariat, was arrested from his official residence at Balwatar on Sunday evening, 6th of October. Mahara was arrested for investigations after the victim, Roshani Shahi, filed an official complaint for attempt rape. The victim filed the official complaint 5 days after informing the police by telephone about the sexual abuse conducted by former House Speaker Mahara. Mahara, who is currently being kept at Singadarbar, will remain under arrest for further investigation until the conclusion of the Dasai festival. The Parliament also announced on Thursday to put on hold the salary and other benefits that the outgoing Speaker Krishna Bahadur Mahara is entitled to as a lawmaker until the investigation into Mahara's rape allegation concludes. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a press statement on Wednesday confirming Chinese President Xi Jinping's two-day visit to Nepal at the official invitation of President Vidyadevi Bhandari. President Xi is scheduled to arrive in Kathmandu at 4:55 p.m. on Saturday and to depart the next day. President Xi will arrive in Nepal after concluding his India visit. During his stay in Nepal, the visiting Chinese president will hold talks with President Vidyadevi Bhandari, Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli, and other political leaders. Nepal plans to table proposals regarding railway, road network, tunnelways, and some strategically important projects to the visiting Chinese delegates. Both the countries are planning to sign an agreement to carry out the feasibility study and a detailed project report DPR to construct the Kerung-Kathmandu railway. Meanwhile, Nepal and China have agreed not to sign the extradition treaty during Chinese President Xi's visit to Nepal. The last Chinese president to visit Nepal was Jiang Zemin in 1996. This is Abhidesh Shrestha for Kantipur News Desk.
Before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. Chinese President Xi Jinping arriving in Kathmandu today for two-day official visits. Agreements on connectivity to top the priority, security beefed up in the capital. As many as 6 industries established with Chinese assistance remain shut. Trade deficit worsens due to lack of investment in productive sectors. Some 100,000 residents flee their homes in North Syria as Turkey presses on with its cross-border offensive on Kurdish-held areas. And Portugal blanked Luxembourg 3-0. Czech Republic snatched a thrilling 2-1 win over England at the Euro qualifiers. And that's all for the moment. Keep watching Kantipur Television HD for more news and entertainment. Bye for now.